So, TNA Slammiversary is in the bag. And I gotta tell you guys, it was fucking good. What's going on, Hustleites? It's your man A-Track Brown, representing the PW Hustle, right here on YouTube, coming at you with a TNA Slammiversary review. And like I said at the opening of the video, it was a good fucking show. And first and foremost, I want to say God bless and condolences to the victims and the family of the victims and everyone who was struck by the tragedy that happened in Orlando. Some fucking maniac, madman, ISIS sympathizer, whatever you want to call it, if that's even the real story at this point. You know me, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I don't believe shit that the news tells me, but but so far I'm just gonna go along with what the information has said. And some asshole shot up a gay bar, and 50 people were killed, and the most horrific shooting in American history. And it sucks. And I just want to say to the people out there who are out there screaming gun control, gun control, gun control. On a personal standpoint, I want to tell you straight up and down, you can have all the gun laws you want. That's not going to stop mass shootings. It's just not. These seeds were planted hundreds of years ago when guns were invented. And they're here, and they're going to be here forever. And there's nothing that's gonna do anything to curb people from going crazy. Unless you try to find some way to regulate, horrific human behavior. So, but that's it on that. I just want to say God bless. Got my dog barking, which means there's probably another dog in the hallway. But anyway, let's start off with this review. And Buster, shut up! And anyway, so the show opens up with all the wrestlers out on the stage. And, they're in a moment of silence for, of course, the tragedy that happened in Orlando. TNA located in Orlando, the Impact Zone, that's where it is. That's where Slammiversary was. And so they showed their respects as they should have. And, there were some people who were trying to get on Matt Hardy's case because he said that people approached him in a hotel room and said, in light of today's tragedy, they hope to see a good show. I'm paraphrasing, of course. And people saw that as him trying to seize the opportunity to put over this pay-per-view, which is just ridiculous. That's assuming that you're saying that Matt Hardy's lying about being approached by somebody in a hotel, telling them, how they felt about the tragedy and wanting to see tonight's event and hoping it puts them in better spirits. I don't understand what the problem is there. And they trying to say it was him trying to do a cheap plug because he used the hashtag Slammiversary. Well, you're on Twitter. It's fucking automatic these days just to put a fucking hashtag over. So, relax, brother Nero. It's not as bad as you're making it seem to be. But anyway, we start off the show with Eddie Edwards, Trevor Lee, his name escapes me sometimes, Andrew Everett, and DJ Zema Ion. And DJ Zema Ion coming out with his new look, looking like one of the Daft Punk crew. Can't get mad at him for that. He looks pretty cool with the way he comes out. The X Division as the roster is a bit depleted. I know that they signed a new guy who I think might be a part of it. I forget his name. But the fact of the matter is the match itself was great. Didn't see the double moonsault from Andrew Everett like I was hoping. I'm still hoping to see him pull that off. If you guys haven't seen that, you need to check that out. I can't believe that guy actually can do something like that. But we did see a good match in itself. At the end of the day, they banned Hurricane Helms from ringside because they wanted it to go over, the way it should. And just like you would expect, Andrew Everett and Trevor Lee actually started going at it. And nobody to break up the 3 count, nobody to steal the title like they did a few weeks ago. And at the end of the match, Eddie Edwards was victorious. And I was really impressed by that match. It did exactly what I thought it was going to do. And now hopefully they're going in the direction that I hope that they go into, which is when Davey Richards comes back, they split up the Wolves. Now is the time for them to split up the Wolves. I think that the Wolves need to do their singles competitive thing. They can come back and do the jealousy angle. The Wolves back together, and just when you think it's all good, Davey Richards kicks Eddie Edwards right in the fucking head. And he starts out saying, he was gone and you went out and you got the title and I want it and this, that, and the third. I don't care. As long as Davey Richards gets that single push and becomes the main event star like he should be, and hopefully future TNA champ. They need to do a whole program with Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards for the world title in the future, just like ROH. You follow that angle. Ain't nothing wrong with that at all. It's not uncommon for guys who feuded in other federations to bring their feud over to the one that they're in now. Case in point, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. It's the way they're working. Like he said, they're destined to do this for the rest of their lives. So ain't nothing wrong if Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards become feuding over the title in the future, if that's a possibility. But anyway, next match you had the Knockouts match, which Maria Kanellis was not involved in because of she had a broken hand, and they came up with a triple threat match. I thought something might be in the works for that. I got the phone going off in the background, as you can hear. I thought that they would have something in plan for it, and they put Sienna in the match with Jade and Gail Kim. They made a triple threat, and Sienna came out as world champion. And I am not happy about that at all. At all. I don't know what the fuck TNA is thinking right now by making Sienna champion. She's not even that good, in my opinion. I'm very pissed off at that. That was one of my biggest disappointments of the night, and it really pissed me off, and I wasn't happy about it at all. So the match itself was not bad. Jade was in there and doing her thing. Gail Kim is always good. Sienna is not impressive to me. She's just not. I was going over with the professor earlier. We tried to do a show, but we couldn't. We had some audio problems, so I put this out. It just bothered me that they gave her the title. Jade to me is she's just second to Gail Kim, But like I said, Gail Kim and Jade, they went in there, they did their thing. Sienna was not that good. The match was all right. I didn't have a big problem with it, other than the fact that they gave Sienna the title. I understood why they did it. I'm just not happy about it. I hope somewhere down the line Jade gets that title back. But at the end of the day, I just want to see a full-on feud between Jade and Gail Kim. Then you had I guess you could say, impromptu match. Braxton Sutter, a.k.a. Pepper Parks, versus James Storm. And James Storm actually went over in this match, which I was surprised at. I didn't think that James Storm was going to win. I thought they were going to put over Brandon Sutter, a.k.a. Pepper Parks. Braxton Sutter, I'm sorry. That name is going to take some getting used to for me. Stop licking the couch. Anyway, it's crazy. Anyway, that name is gonna take some time for me to get used to. But anyway, Braxton Sutter loses to James Storm. Didn't think that James Storm was going to be in this pay-per-view. A lot of people were saying, how they going to leave James Storm this pay-per-view? Way to go, TNA, mocking him and whatever. But there you go, James Storm on the pay-per-view nonetheless. Even if the match was thrown together, match wasn't that good because, like I said, I think it was thrown together, so they didn't really have time to prepare for it like that. So, moving on, you have let's see, you have the King of the Mountain Championship match with Eli Drake versus Bram, the Chesterfield Plague. Bram got hurt early on in this match, So the match didn't live up to the full potential that you wanted it to. And but Bram finished the match. So for me, I give him a pass. Eli Drake ends up winning the match with his finisher. Damn, what was the name of it? There's something simple too. I forgot the expression. I can't. If anybody out there, you guys know the finisher. I forget, but he won with his finisher in a quick match. Bram got hurt. Don't know the severity of his injuries, and hopefully it won't be that bad. You had the EC3 versus Mike Bennett match. EC3 going over on Mike Bennett. Didn't have a problem with this match at all. Match went down exactly the way I thought it would. You know, these guys were trying to do their best to top each other and try to impress the people. At one point, EC3 went for a TK3 on the outside. Didn't really connect all that well. It didn't. I wasn't really happy about that. The way he tried to do that move, almost like he killed both of them. But nonetheless, EC3 went over, and that was cool. I could have went either way on the match, but EC3 got his win back. He's the most over guy in that company right now. The fans were loving him, and I really dug when he went out there and does the trouble, 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 trouble. Oh, you know, can't go wrong with that. But anyway, good match. You know, Maria Kanellis got involved as you thought she would. I was expecting to see some outside interference. I really thought we were going to see the formation of the Kingdom tonight. I don't know who the Kingdom members are going to be yet, but I think Braxton Sutter, aka Pepper Parks, might be a part of that somewhere down the line. That's just a speculation. But anyway, Ethan Carter goes over. Good match. Ain't got a problem with that. So then you have, let's see. You have Grado and Mahabali Shera up against the Tribunal. And, you know something? I was surprised. That was actually a good match. It was okay. Now maybe good is too much of a word, but the Tribunal were good, and Grado and Mahabali Shera kind of held their own to a degree. You know, I got the replay going on in the background right now, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be on the parts of Grado and Shera. So props to them. You know, the Tribunal goes over. Al Snow was at ringside doing his best Bill Alfonso impression with that whistle. I'm not mad at him. People can say he's ripping it off, but at the end of the day, that's a gimmick that you should expect to be ripped off somewhere in the future. And I'm glad that Al Snow's doing it. After all, Al Snow was in ECW, so he gets a pass, and it's not bad at all just to hear him go crazy out there with that whistle. So you know, it is what it is. Let's see. Then you have Decay in a tag team match versus Robbie E and Jesse Goddard in a pretty cool match. And I have to say that Jesse Goddard is getting really good as a wrestler. He's getting better. That dude has one hell of a drop kick, man. And you know, you got Raquel out there, and oh my God. And let me tell you, Raquel can get it. YEA, yeah, she can get it. But anyway, you have Decay going over. There was some misspit in the face of the ref. Misspit in the face of Abyss. At one point, Abyss choke slammed Crazy Steve. And, you know, it wasn't bad at all. I enjoyed this match a lot. And, of course, you have the Full Metal Mayhem. You have Broken Matt versus Brother Nero. And as you would expect, they pulled out all the stops. Jeff Hardy said something about trying to top Shane McMahon. I don't know if he was serious or if he was just saying it as a joke. But either way, he didn't really top. He didn't really jump from anything crazy. Swanton bomb from the top rope. At one point, he had an extended ladder, which he stretched across the ring and hit a splash on Matt Hardy. You know, Matt Hardy put Jeff through a table. These guys, you know, them being brothers, they just went all over. You know, they went all out. And at one point, Matt Hardy had a keyboard that he put out there because he was playing the piano and shit, and he freaking put Jeff through that, or the best he could anyway. And didn't know. I kind of felt that maybe Matt might go over, but at the end of the day, Jeff Hardy is TNA. So, Jeff going over was the result. And am I mad at that? Absolutely not. Not mad at it. Not mad at it at all. And I think I don't necessarily think this might be the end of this feud. I think we might see something in months to come and weeks to come. Who knows? But it was a good match. I gave it 4 stars, to be honest with you. Those dudes, they go out there and they do what they do, and you can't really get upset at them for it. You can try to diss Matt Hardy all you want, but the fact of the matter is that dude knows what the fuck he's doing. He trolls people. He comes out with this gimmick. People mock it. People make fun of it. But at the end of the day, you're talking about it. And people have been talking about this more than they've talked about TNA in fucking years. So Matt Hardy's doing something right. So all the haters can probably eat a cock meat sandwich because it's working. And especially if this pay-per-view is a success. I don't know how many buys you would consider success. But if it is a success, then you got to give a lot of credit to TNA and to Matt Hardy, Matt and Jeff. So anyway, you got the main event. Knockout or tap out. And I got to tell you, I fucking love the stipulation of this match. I love the idea. I love the concept. I love the men involved. Bobby Lashley, the Destroyer, the Captain Drew Galloway, who's been just hot ever since he left the WWE and have gone to Evolve and so on and so forth. And from what I hear, they're trying to lock Galloway and Bobby Lashley into exclusive deals, and I don't blame them. You should be doing that. The ratings actually went up when when Drew Galloway became champion, and went from doing 200 something thousand to 300 something thousand the next week later. It could be that him being champ, or it could just be something else. Who knows? But that's something to look at. Now that Bobby Lashley's champion, let's see what happens. But anyway, I just gave away the result, but I'll just tell you how the match went. Galloway was on the attack. And as the match started, Galloway just freaking hits this dude with a Claymore kick. Like, he rocked this dude. You know what I'm saying? He rocked this dude with that kick. I jumped out my chair. I was like, yo, be careful. This dude has to freaking compete in freaking Bellator. So, it just started off with a bang. And they were just going at it, They were brawling. They were brawling more in this match than they did in their original match, which was the whole setup to this, which was that lumberjack match. They kind of went in more of a brawling. Drew Galloway hit a Celtic cross on the steps. He went for a sharpshooter on the steps. It was what he was doing. He was pulling out the stops. He was trying to do whatever he could, man, to take the fight to Bobby Lashley. And Bobby Lashley came out with some submissions as well. Bobby Lashley came out with the spear as he usually does, and it was a good story. It was a good story. They told a good story. It was very good ring psychology. I enjoyed the match. Bobby Lashley wins the match when Drew Galloway tries to hit a move outside on the table, and he goes through the table because Bobby Lashley moves, and Drew Galloway's bleeding, and then he gets up and he's enraged and he's ready to go at Bobby Lashley. Drew Galloway, man, he exhibits that heart of fire in his matches, and you gotta appreciate that. As a wrestling fan, as an old school wrestling fan at that, I'm not mad at the way Drew Galloway carries himself in the ring, and as a man, and you can't go wrong with Bobby Lashley. So anyway, Bobby Lashley gets the upper hand on Drew, and he ends up taking Drew out, and Bobby Lashley is the new champ. I can't remember the name of the move that he used. You might have to ask the professor. He's more proficient with the moves than I am. I'm getting old, man. I can't remember the names of these moves anymore. But it was a chokehold, and he got him in it, and he passed out. Now the ref at one point I was confused because Brian Hebner, he grabs Drew Galloway's arm and just does the 1 count. And then he calls for the bell. But then when they showed the replay, I noticed that Brian Hebner was like right there in front of Drew Galloway as Drew Galloway's eyes started dimming and they closed, and you could tell he was out. It was like watching a UFC fight. You know, the ref saw he was out. Instead of raising a hand 3 times, he just did it once because he knew he was out. So if there's people out there who was like, wait a minute, he just did 1. In MMA, that's actually how it goes. You know, they don't do the 1-3 like they do in wrestling. They just do that 1 and that's it. So it was a very good ending, an MMA style ending. You know, the build to this entire pay-per-view, the 3 main matches, the Hardys, EC3 and Bennett, and Drew Galloway and Bobby Lashley, those builds were fucking great. The weigh-in that they did on Impact was fucking awesome. I loved it. You know, I'm not gonna nitpick like the professor, even though he nitpicks out of love. It's all good. I just felt that, you know, it was awesome. It's what wrestling promotions should be doing. And if any other wrestling promotions follow suit, just remember that TNA did it first. I'm surprised ROH has never done it, because ROH treats their organization more like a sport than anyone. You know, they even do the tail of the tape and the honor code and whatnot, code of honor. You know, TNA did it, man. You guys did it. On a scale of 1 to 10, I gave this pay-per-view a strong 7.5. And they lost points because I was very pissed off at the fact they took the title off Jade. I didn't like that at all. I didn't like that at all. So they got a strong 7.5. You know what? I give it an 8. Because the beginning of the show, they used the song I by the Smashing Pumpkins, which is one of my favorite songs, and it's one of my favorite Smashing Pumpkins songs. So, you know, I give them an 8 based off that alone. So, you know, it was cool and all. I ain't got no problems with the pay-per-view. They did a good fucking job. They held it together. And see you guys next time. It's your boy A-Track Brown. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't forget PW Hustle Facebook page. Don't forget my Twitter, Thyro Fancy. And I'll see you guys later.